Hi, everybody. This is Paul Hitchcock. I'm with Barth Calderon. We're an asset protection, estate planning, and business planning law firm located in Orange County, California. This is our Wealth Protector educational TV channel where we bring you great content. And today, this is specifically for rental income property owners. And I have the Director of Education, Alexandra Alvarado, with the American Apartment Owners Association. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me, Paul.
Yeah, no, awesome to have you here. Obviously, we've done a lot of education with you over the years, and you're running such a great program over there. So what I want to do is first of all, let folks know what your organization is doing, how they can get involved, your role there, and then I know you have a hot button issue to discuss here.
Yes, absolutely. Well, I'll give you guys a little bit of background on what we do. Our association started in 2004. We have 155,000 landlords who are members of our association. And our goal is really to bring you the news and the tools that you need to manage your rental properties better. And Paul said it, we've worked together before. We have speakers like Paul and his team come on and educate our landlord members, as well as a lot of different speakers who do webinars on a weekly basis. We also do tenant screening, legal forms. We have basically anything you might need, from insurance to financing to even marketing and selling your rental property if you ever need to. So lots there, but really the primary focus for me, at least, is to make sure that our members are educated on everything that's happening, that they're also protecting their rentals and mitigating risk as much as possible. And that's why I'm here today, because I know that's what you all do as well on this channel. So we're going to talk a little bit about something that I've been seeing in the news, and I'm very excited to share it, just because, you know, when these things come up, I definitely want to make sure as many people know about it as possible.
Yeah, no, quick question as we get into that, Alexandra, is there a common thread of the type of property owner that's involved with your group, or is it all over the map? And it's national? Everyone's across the country, right?
Right. Yeah. Thanks for mentioning that. It is a national organization. It's difficult to keep up with all the laws, but we do our best, and we try to keep our members up to date on everything. Our members do range. So, you know, we have some that are just barely starting in the rental ownership world. Maybe they just bought their first rental property, all the way to some that have, you know, closer to 1,000 units that they might be managing. So we try to accommodate everyone, but really the majority of our membership is going to be those like small to mid-sized landlords that really need to stay up to date on what is happening in the industry, because they don't have a huge legal team, and because they don't
Right.
have a ton of employees. They're sort of meant to wear so many hats that, to be honest, it's really hard for them to keep up. And so our goal is just to make that a lot easier on them, and to be that kind of support for them if they don't have a big team.
Yeah, and your resources, your website, the annual events you put on are incredible. And how does somebody get involved with the group?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's free to join the association. So if you go to just AAOA.com, you can join for free, and then potentially upgrade your membership if you do want to get discounts or free services that we have to offer to our members specifically. But I mean, you can at least join for free. That'll subscribe
Right.
you to our newsletter, so you can start getting the news and exploring some of the other features that we have. But it's always good to be in the loop, and that's why we made it free, so we can get as many people in that loop as possible.
Yeah, as an example, when we do events together for all of those listening, is we'll have top attorneys on these events talking about, you know, how to transfer property to the next generation, the asset protection, liability. We see a ton of that. So, and I've been exposed to your other speakers over the years. They're all incredible. And so I just say for anybody, I would encourage you to join. A lot of content. Your best friend, if you own rental income property owner, is right here. Okay, so you've got this hot issue that's been in the news. What's going on?
This story really caught my attention. I shared it in our newsletter, and it also received so many clicks. I think
Uh,
landlords were really curious about what this case was about. basically, you have a couple in Baldwin County, Alabama, named Dwayne and Erica. Okay, they were arrested recently for repeatedly defrauding landlords out of rent payments over a 4-year period. Now, we know that this kind of thing happens, but what really stood out to me was that it was for a 4-year period, multiple landlords, where they would move into the rental properties, avoid paying rent, making up as many excuses as they could. Family emergency, I'm ill, I have cancer, whatever it took to make the landlord feel bad for them. Then they would then drag out the eviction process if the landlord did go through with like an eviction notice. And then after they were evicted, they would then challenge the negative remark on their credit report and then have that removed or disputed long enough so that they could apply to another rental without the next landlord knowing about it. And it's just very common, I think, for landlords to, I guess, take a tenant's word for something if they see,
Right.
oh, okay, like something happened that might have caused this person not to pay rent. I'm not saying that there shouldn't be any flexibility, but it seems like they really took advantage in this case. And despite having jobs, full-time jobs, they intentionally committed fraud. They basically cost landlords an estimated $50,000 to $80,000. They also would leave the rental behind completely filthy and with
Okay.
damage, which is also unfortunately part of what comes with this is
Right.
you have tenants who don't want to pay rent, but then of course they're not also going to take care of the rental. So
Right. Right.
it's like a
Yeah.
double whammy for
Yeah.
landlords to receive not just no rent, but also have to pay to fix all of those damages. So the way that they found out was because a sheriff in Alabama started to see their name pop up a couple of times and he
Oh,
kind
over
of
and over.
connected the
Oh,
dots
yeah.
and he basically they were arrested, which is very rare. Tenants usually don't get
Right.
arrested for this kind
Right.
of thing.
Yep.
Charged with theft by fraudulent renting or leasing, which is a Class C felony in Alabama.
Oh, interesting.
So it really escalated to something criminal. I
Yeah.
never see that happen. I know a
Yeah.
lot of landlords think it's a crime,
Yeah. Oh,
but
yeah.
it's
Yeah.
rarely treated as one.
Not in
Um,
California, especially. Yeah.
Yes, I mean
Yeah.
it is Alabama, so we'll say that definitely might be a state where it's a bit more landlord friendly. Of course, I don't see this happening in California.
No, no, no. Amazing. And the question then is, what is the best practice? You've had a lot of landlords attorneys over there, and you have, resources there. What could have been done differently, or what is the best practice with screening?
Yes. Well, there's so many. And I often do presentations on like the whole process from beginning to end, from the point you put your listing up to the first time you talk to the tenant,
Yeah.
to the background check, to then the lease. I mean, that process is so critical and it really makes sense to take your time, do your due diligence during that time. Don't skip steps. I don't even think it's a good idea to outsource this process if you can help it, unless you're really, really confident that your property manager is doing everything that
Oh,
you
right.
would do, right, for your
Yeah.
property.
Yeah.
Especially for smaller landlords, I think it's really, it really can make such a big impact to have a bad tenant. I mean, it could ruin your life versus
Yeah.
if it's a large corporate landlord, it's like not, I mean, they probably see that a lot more. It doesn't affect them
Right.
personally. This is probably something you bought with your own hard-earned money. So it's definitely worth going through the steps yourself. So I'll start there with that tip
Yep. And
first.
what can you do? How deep can you go on screening somebody? I mean, can you run background checks, credit checks?
Yes.
You can do all this?
Yes. So one of the things that we are really proud of is our tenant screening. Our tenant screening credit and background checks are very thorough. Obviously, you have the credit reports from the 3 credit bureaus, TransUnion, Experian, and Equifax. To be honest, they're not that different. As long as you're getting a
Right.
credit report, you're probably getting enough information.
Yeah.
The problem is either landlords who don't know how to read red flags on those credit reports.
Hmm.
Maybe they just look at the score. If the score is above a certain number, they don't look at the rest. Bad idea. There's definitely hidden things like this couple, right? If they were disputing, as they said, a collection for a judgment on the report, it doesn't actually affect their score. I don't
Oh,
think landlords also know that evictions are not automatically reported to a credit bureau. And
oh,
so someone could effectively have a clean credit report and have an eviction. And so
okay.
that's a really major thing landlords need to learn is
Yeah.
don't rely solely on a credit report. Yes, get the credit report, but then also make sure you're getting that eviction search. We just recently added on to our premium package a tax liens and civil judgment search because tax liens and civil judgments were removed from credit reports. And
Hmm.
so now we're getting less data on the credit report, which means we need to go to public records to find out if a tenant has been sued for any reason, not just an eviction, but think about the damages, right? These tenants that we were just talking about, they didn't leave the rental in a good state.
Right.
So where does that show up? Well, it might have been a lawsuit. Maybe one of those landlords sued them for damages, but then that goes to
Right.
small claims and it's not going to show up on a credit report.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's why
Interesting.
we added it to the report. So I think just make sure wherever screening provider you're using, we'd love for you to use AAOA, but just make sure that you're getting enough data from that provider. And then there's all of the homework, fun that you should be doing on your own as
Right. Right.
well.
Yeah.
You know, not just getting a report and that's it. Like you also still have to do a few more things after
Yeah.
that.
Well, it's
Yeah.
interesting you say that because I was talking to a property owner today, and uh, they a lot of times just don't run it like a business, their property,
Mm-hmm.
and he's got primary home, one rental in their own name, so there's no asset protection and there's issues going on. But it reminds me of this issue is you've got to treat it like a business, otherwise you can get burned. The scenario you brought up for us, it's lawsuits, against the landlord. So it's a very good point. Treat it like a business. And the package you have, Alexander, is it on the website? Can they see what that's all about?
It is, yes. So if you go to AAOA.com and you click on tenant screening in the menu, you'll see an option to screen tenants. And the premium package that we have on there, you'll see on the list of items, it now includes the tax liens and civil judgments and also a social security number fraud detection. So we also have built that up a bit too, so we can check their social and see what names, date of birth, the status of the social. That's really helpful as well. We actually just recently caught a couple of incidents, one where a junior was pretending to be a senior, so a son pretending to be his dad,
Oh,
and
why would
that
he do that?
because his dad had great credit
Oh,
and
for
they
the
had the
credit. Oh, for
same
the credit.
name.
Okay, okay.
So, when the credit report came back, it really didn't look any different. It looked like it belonged to him because his name was on there.
Yeah.
But then because our client ordered that social security number fraud report, when they looked there, they realized that the social had been issued well before the tenant had been born.
Oh
So
man. Oh man.
that's something to add, I think, is like you
Yeah.
never know. I mean, for the most part, someone might have not have the same name as their parents. So it's harder to, I guess, pretend to be them. But if they have the same name, it's really not that hard.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Well, people do anything. Let people do
Yeah.
anything today. Yeah. It's crazy. Yeah. These are good reminders. These are great hot button issues. And so this is fantastic. And I want to just tell everybody, get connected to Alexandra. Her information will be around this video for sure. Go to the website, look at their resources. Fantastic. Alexandra, thanks for being here. This was a good reminder.
Yeah, thanks for having me. And I'll come back hopefully again soon to give you some more tidbits on things that you can do to mitigate your risk. Certainly, we don't want to see any of our members fall victim to anything like this. And so
Yeah.
keep your eyes peeled. You never
Yep.
know. A handshake is great, but make sure you're calling references, you're doing the background check. You're really getting to know who you're renting to, even when whatever they're saying sounds like it's good. Verify whatever they say, because taking someone's word is clearly riskier than it used to be.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a tricky business climate. Well, thank you. We'll see you next time.
Thank you.